Hi, it's me, Rasheed Ogunlaru, coach, speaker and author, and welcome to this, which is the April issue of Catch the Coach, your newsletter for fulfilment. And really, this particular episode is all about my top 10 tips for managing and seeing yourself through challenging times like this. And the thing that really jumps out to me right now is the beginning of that, I think it's the book, Tale of Two Cities. It was the best of times, the worst of times. We know that we are in challenging times health-wise, which is very, very serious for everybody, wherever it is that we are in our families, globally, in terms of the economy, absolutely everywhere, wherever it is that you're living in towns and cities. We're mindful of that right now. And yet it is an opportunity for us to really pause, to really reflect, to look at our lives, to look at what's really important to us, to really appreciate this gift of life, to really appreciate everybody else, to really nurture ourselves. And all of this time that we have within is really inviting us to go on a journey of real inner peace, so that there's real opportunity right now. And so I'm going to jump into a few things. I'm going to go into my top 10 tips for the month ahead. In fact, it's really for the months ahead. And then I'm going to share a little bit about my event, a couple of free events I'm running. Compassion check-in once every Wednesday at 12 noon. And I'm going to be saying something about a special event that I'm running for entrepreneurs, Interim Emergency Planning. So without further ado, let's get stuck in. So my top 10 tips. These are really my coaching and mindfulness tips for really helping us see ourselves through this COVID-19 crisis. And actually, these are tips that are useful for any time in our life. Tip number one, be really grateful for this precious gift of life that we have. We so often take it for granted. Really be grateful for yourself and for life itself. Really, really cherish it. My tip number two is start every day with gratitude. I always say that the best breakfast to start every day with a big bowl of gratitude. So starting off with wishing yourself well, your family and friends well, your colleagues well, in circles until you're wishing absolutely everybody on this entire planet well. And that is so important for right now, really wishing everybody, the healers, the teachers, the nurses, the doctors, the delivery drivers, the armed services, the people who are doing everything they can to keep us well, wishing absolutely everybody well. So that's my tip number two. Tip number three is really important. Stay in touch with the news, and social media is apt, but don't get too drawn in. So you've got to know when to switch on so that you're able to stay in touch with what's going on for you locally, what's going on in terms of your business, in terms of your industry, in terms of your workplace, and perhaps nationally, but don't get too drawn in to the news and the social media. Otherwise, you can find yourself just overwhelmed by things. So stay in touch, but don't get too drawn in. Tip four is really important. Plan, prepare, anticipate, and be proactive. I think times like this, it was Einstein who said that in adversity there's always opportunity, but it's also really important that we are that we're kind of prepared. So plan and prepare. What are the things that you need to plan and prepare in terms of home, with your family? Maybe it is that you need to look at what's going on financially. Lots of people, particularly here in the UK, are going to need to be looking into what's available for them in terms of work-wise, financially, and there's different schemes and so on that the government have put in place. But also there might be your own planning that you're having to rejig your finances, rejig some of your family plans, and having conversations about serious things about how it is that you're going to manage this particular time and moving forward. So really do think about your finances, think about things that are going to affect you in terms of your workplace, be proactive. Those of you who are business owners, it's really important that you are proactive about this as well. So don't bury your head in the sand, plan, prepare, have those kind of conversations too. Tip number five is foster a calm mind, a calm, quiet mind. I have a saying, the stiller you are, the calmer life is. And if you're struggling right now with a noisy mind, I've got a free 10-minute meditation on my YouTube channel, and I've got a couple of very, very, very special CDs that will kind of help you. And I wonder if I happen to have one here. Has the coach got one that's right in front of him? I don't have that, but my Become Who You Are CD might be really, really useful to help you be calm. It's an audio download that you can download, and space, silence, stillness. These are two beautiful semi-meditative talks that will just help you to recenter. So tip number five, foster a calm, quiet mind. not having too much noise, not too much distraction, making sure you're getting the sleep and the rest that you need. That leads us beautifully on to tip number six, which is really about time within. Now, you're probably going to be finding yourself in isolation, so this is an invitation for really rest, recuperation, mindfulness, meditation, quiet prayer, whatever it is that keeps you really, really centered, going within. There might be certain books that you find that are incredibly soothing, that just have that impact of just helping you go within. Whatever it is, the things that help you go within, I highly recommend that. Stillness, quiet, rest, centeredness, breathing. So you can go within. So you're not too caught with all the noise without. You're able to go within. And it might mean that if you're in a busy family household, you might need to just take a few minutes to your room or to a corner of your room, find a quiet space. If it's a quiet chair, let people know that that's your quiet time. If you're lucky enough to have a garden, a little bit of outdoor space, that time within. Okay. Tip number 7, well-being, creativity and hobbies. This is a great time for all of these things. Remember that it's going to be really important for you to get the exercise you need. The exercise you need can be really, really useful for your overall sense of well-being. I happen to have here a Swiss ball that I do start off all my exercises every day with. Maybe you're able to, if you're able to go outside, and if you're able to, maybe you can get a little bit of exercise outdoors. Perhaps you've got limited mobility and so on. What is it that you can do? Anything that you can do to keep you moving is really, really important. So try and develop your own well-being and your own. It might be that you might want to just create your whole routine, so you've got your time for your well-being. But also, this is a great opportunity for you to pick up on things like your old hobbies. Lots of people are finding, okay, that guitar that you never learned to play, but you haven't played for years. All those books that you haven't yet read. Here is that Become Who You Are CD. Maybe there's all sorts of your favourite music. What are the things that keep you calm, the things that keep you energised? Maybe it is that you might want to start journaling. You might have all sorts of books to boost the creativity. Getting out those felt tip pens and so on, drawing, writing. Creativity can be incredibly soothing, calming, journaling, writing, poetry, anything that makes you feel really good. Games and all of that kind of stuff. All of that stuff is really, 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 can be really incredible right now. Tip number 8 is to stay connected. This is really, really important. You might be in isolation in terms of where you are physically, but actually, as somebody was saying on one of my events yesterday, that it doesn't mean that you're in social isolation. Please stay in touch. The phone, whatever systems you have, FaceTime, WhatsApp, Skype, whatever online platforms, Zoom, whatever it is, the things that you're using, you're learning to use, so you can stay in touch with the family. I, the other week, just arranged a family video conference and call. We're in different places and we're all connected. That's really important. Pick up the phone. Let people know that you care. I'm doing more calls and messaging and just leaving voice notes of people than I usually do. Just wishing people well. Staying connected is really important at a time like this. Tip number 9, self and professional development. Now is a great time to do all of that learning and development, to be working on your business, on your career. There's all sorts of courses you can be doing online. And also education, for example, here in the UK, places like the BBC have developed all sorts of programming for kids at school. It might be a huge time for you to learn new things, to study around your industry, your career and so on. Read, study, do that personal development. There's all sorts of courses and so on. I've got a number of video courses on my Soul Traders courses site. There is a Coach Yourself video. I've got my Become Who You Are Coach Yourself video, and there's heaps and heaps of stuff online, and lots of stuff that is free also. So it can be a great time to do that. And I think that also links back to that tip before, where there's all sorts of also classes and so on that people do online in terms of well-being and so on as well. Tip number 10, which is so important, kindness and compassion. Starts within, but to everybody. Recognize also that this might be a trying and testing and challenging time for so many people, maybe a traumatic time too. Being kind and compassionate. Look after yourself, look after your health, look after everyone else. Be mindful, to be kind, be compassionate. It's going to be a challenging time, but also it's a time that we're seeing it's bringing out so many of the best things in humankind, and it's also a time for leadership. That's why I'm wearing my my Mandela t-shirt. Stepping up into being kind This is going to bring out the leadership in everyone. That leads me nicely on, so those are my tips for the month. Leads me on nicely to two things I want to talk about. Join me. I'm running 2 free events at times like these. I know it's a time that's very challenging for people. Check out my Compassion Check-In event. It is an event I'm running free online once every week, Wednesdays at 12 noon, right at the heart of the week, Wednesdays 12 noon online. Compassion Check-In. It's helping us move from anxiety to inner peace. Next week's one, depending when you're watching this, which will be mid-April by then, is all around leadership. But each one has a different theme, and it's an opportunity for you, whoever you are, to check in, to resettle, to connect, meet all sorts of perhaps people you know, people you don't know, an opportunity just to be and breathe. I'm joined by wonderful people each time. Join us there. If you look below this video, you'll see the details. If you look onto my YouTube, you go onto my website, you'll see the details of how you can just log in. One more event I want to bring your attention to is for those of you who are business owners. As you know, I'm the Life and Business Coach Partner to British Library's Business and IP Centre. We're putting a number of free webinars, though in fact it's well worth going to the British Library's Business and IP Centre website, www.bl.uk/BIPC, as in Business Intellectual Property Centre. You'll see heaps and heaps of events, lots of free webinars. There's a Friday one run by a colleague of mine called Johnny Martin, which is all around financial planning to help you at times like these. There's sessions on things like how you can do research at home. There's all sorts of things, business planning, marketing, you name it. I'm running one called Interim and Emergency Planning for you and your business. So if you're self-employed, if you're freelance, but you might actually just find this also useful in just any aspect of life, but particularly if you're sole trader, you're freelance, running your own small business, helping you think about, okay, what's the planning that I need to do right now for this particular period of time, so I can think about what things I need to do financially, marketing and operation-wise, so you can come away with that plan, that interim plan, to help you move your business forward. Again, I'll post a link below here, or again, please do check out on my website. In fact, if you just scroll down, you'll see there on my website. But also, one of the things I want to say right now to stay in touch, I'm posting, lots of things are emerging very fast, so I'm posting lots of stuff on my official Facebook. So if you go onto my website, rosario.com, the best way to find all of my social media is right at the top. Join me on my Facebook, my official Facebook page. Join me on Twitter. I post lots of tips to keep people motivated in all the latest events. My Instagram page, just look for me, search for me, Rasheed Ogunlaru. You'll find my Instagram page where I post all sorts of stuff almost on a daily basis. So you'll find me on Facebook, you'll find me on Instagram. My YouTube channel is packed with videos, interviews, all sorts of things to sustain you over this particular period of time. So I just want to wish you very well. The one thing I want to leave you with, perhaps the quote of the month that I want to leave you with, is that everything boils down to love and compassion, or its absence. Right now, the thing that is so important is that love and that compassion operate from the heart. The mind is really important, use it wisely, but when you add the heart, magic happens, real magic happens. I have another quote: sure, with courage you can conquer the world, but only with compassion can you heal it. So thank you so much. I wish you every well wish. I wish you every health wish for you, your friends and your family. I wish you every strength. I wish you every courage. And I wish that this is a time of real, where we raise our consciousness and our levels of compassion. Thank you so much. See you soon. Lots of love from me, Rasheed.